What is a coffee enema, and is it even good for you? You might be surprised by what I'm about to tell you. Hey guys, Uriel Kim here, New York Times bestselling author, health and nutrition expert, and the man to help you live a healthier, fitter, and more prosperous life. Today we are on the big whiteboard, and I've got something interesting drawn here that hopefully will make a bit more sense of what I'm about to share with you as it pertains to coffee enemas. Now, before I get into what a coffee enema is, I need to be very honest with you with the fact that I've been a little late to the party. I've been in this space for a long time, almost 20 years, and I've always been a believer that I'd rather have stuff coming out of that end as opposed to stuff going in it. However, recently, I've done some self-experimentation based on some conversations with some friends in the industry, and I was like, you know what, let's give this a shot. And to my surprise, it has absolutely been mind-blowing. And I tell people there's two things that have really made a big eye-opening paradigm shift for me when it comes to nutrition and health. The first thing is alkalinity, the power of getting more greens into your body, improving the pH balance. That was a major discovery that transformed my health after losing my hair when I was 17 years old and making that discovery in my early 20s. The second big discovery, guys, is coffee enemas. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is not because, as you know, I'm not a huge fan of coffee in the first place because of caffeine and so forth. However, this is a protocol that as I've dug into the research over the years, I've seen time and time again pop up. And I look at a lot of alternative cancer therapies and they're all using coffee enemas. This was actually first brought to the forefront by Dr. Gerson back, 60, 70 years ago. And he was one of the first people in their practice to be using coffee enemas with respect to cancer patients. So why would we even want to do an enema, let alone a coffee enema in the first place? Well, what I have drawn out for you beautifully and artistically here is what your large intestines look like, your colon. Now, between all of this, you've got all this stuff in there, and this is your small intestine, okay? But eventually, all this stuff leads into here. This is your ascending colon. This is your transverse colon. This is your descending colon. And here is your bum, right? Your rectum. So if I were to map this out of my body, I have ascending, transverse, descending. So what happens is when we go through life and we eat food, a lot of people end up with this problem called constipation. And constipation is a problem whereby you have stuff, right, sitting in there, but it doesn't have enough lubrication to move itself out of your body. And so constipation is a major problem for a couple reasons. A, you actually end up holding onto more weight than you need to. B, we have what's called autointoxication, where you have stuck fecal matter that may not be impacted onto the walls of your colon yet, but it's just sitting there. And think about this, if you left your garbage inside your house and never took it out, what would happen? It would probably start to smell really bad and putrefy, and you might even get maggots and different bugs coming in. And that's pretty much what happens in the colon, is if this waste doesn't get eliminated, it's gonna sit there and cause problems. And that's one of the biggest reasons we see so much disease nowadays. And honestly, guys, you talk to your doctor about this, they're gonna laugh at that. They're gonna say, oh, there's no research showing autointoxication. Well, that's great, doc, thank you very much. I'm just gonna continue taking your pills. So here's something we have to realize. There's a reason that so many people are getting sick nowadays, and toxicity is a major, major reason, whether it's from the food, water, air, and so forth, or even internally as a result of not properly eliminating our food stuff, right? Because when we eat food, a certain portion of that is absorbed in the small intestine. When it comes into the large intestine, again, some of it's going to be reabsorbed. The body's going to start to reabsorb some water. And now you have leftover stuff that you don't really need to get rid of. And that's where the colon does its job through these wave-like contractions called peristalsis. But again, if your body is not doing this properly, you're going to be in bad shape here, okay? So what a coffee enema does is essentially we take a little, and I've actually got another video showing you step-by-step how I've done a coffee enema, and I'll show you from my bathroom, like literally step-by-step. So check that out. But here, essentially what we're doing is we are inserting a small tube that is connected to a bag, kind of like a hot water bottle. And this is filled with half coffee and half water pretty much. So it's about 2 liters or so. And what this is gonna do is kind of like an IV drip, is it's going to shoot the water this way into the colon. Now, typically, if you just did a colonic or a colonoscopy at your doctor, right, they're gonna have a very similar process going through the rectum into the colon. But the beautiful thing about an enema, even without the coffee first, is it kind of like flushes stuff out. So what ends up happening here is that you have the hydration, the fluid coming through, which is now gonna start to break down and flush out some of the stuck fecal matter that's been impacted onto your colon, onto the walls of those intestinal walls. And that's important because it's very tough to get that stuff out like through other means. Why this is important is because when we look at the development of things like polyps, which can lead to colorectal cancer is very, very dangerous. And why does it develop? Why does it develop, and why is it correlated with heavy amounts of meat and nitrate consumption? Part of the reason for that is because meat is very tough to move through the digestive tract and expel properly unless you're eating a ton of fiber, a good quality diet, and a lot of water in addition to that. But also, when you have meat and protein sitting around here, it tends to putrefy, and that gives off nauseous gases, and it gets stuck in those walls. It causes all sorts of problems. So it's really important to get rid of stuff off the lining of your colon because it's not supposed to be sitting there and stuck there. It's almost like mold sitting on the side of your shower. That's not a good thing to have happen, right? So the water in and of itself is gonna flush some of that stuff out. That's really awesome. So it's gonna make its way through the colon and you're gonna feel the water move its way through. It's actually really amazing. Now, why coffee? Why coffee? Now, coffee, I'm not a huge fan of drinking. I don't like the impact of caffeine on the body. However, rectally, it's got some amazing benefits. There's a little bundle of nerves in this area. And what this bundle of nerves does is it directly communicates over here to, that's supposed to be your liver, okay? So your liver is over here, just on your, kind of the bottom right-hand side of your rib cage. And the liver is the major detoxification organ in your body. The liver is overloaded, it's too toxic for most of us. And that's why we have a tough time losing weight. Our hormones are out of whack, we have bad skin. Everything comes down to the liver. I often tell you guys, how you heal anything is how you heal everything. That's because if you follow any kind of clean eating protocol or cleansing protocol, you are essentially cleansing your liver, and your liver is responsible for over 500 functions in your body. Detoxification is at the top of the list. So when this bad boy is working properly, everything else works a lot better as well. So what this does, the caffeine stimulates, through that nerve bundle, stimulates the liver to eject more of its stored up toxins, and it also produces something called bile, which helps you digest fats. So it moves all that stuff out that's been stuck in there. And here's the other thing. Studies have shown that caffeine and some of the other antioxidants in coffee stimulate an enzyme in the liver called glutathione S transferase, which stimulates a higher production of your body's glutathione antioxidant. Now, in case you don't know what glutathione is, it's the most powerful antioxidant your body produces. You can't really get it through food. Your body has to produce it on its own. So when you're doing a coffee enema, those antioxidants from the coffee, because they're directly being transported from the hepatic portal vein, so basically it's a special blood vessel that goes from the digestive system right to the liver. It doesn't actually go into your bloodstream to have you feel caffeinated, which is really good. It goes into the liver and it increases production of glutathione, which is the most important antioxidant we just talked about. So this is really powerful stuff. And I'm telling you, when you do this, you are gonna feel lighter because you're getting rid of stuff that's been stuck in there for a long time. You're gonna flush out a lot of stuff. Obviously the enema will go in, it'll come back out after you kind of let it sit in there for a bit. And you're gonna feel lighter, you're gonna feel more energized. Your skin is gonna look better. You're just gonna feel better overall. You're gonna have less sluggishness. You're gonna wake up earlier in the morning, easier in the morning, and everything in your body is just gonna work that much better. Why? Because you have less stuff stuck in here and your liver is working better. Now, again, I would recommend you watch my video on how to do a coffee enema, because I'm gonna walk you through step by step how to prepare the coffee, exactly what to do, how long to hold it in there, all that kind of stuff. So be sure to watch that video. We'll make sure to link that up in the description or maybe on the video itself and watch that. It's a really, really good kind of step-by-step video. If you've enjoyed this and you want to get a little more support on how to cleanse your body so you can actually improve your health, we've got a really cool resource called the 1-Day Detox. And you can grab it absolutely free. We'll put up a link on the video and just below in the description. And that 1-Day Detox will give you more of a food-based plan to help you support all this stuff so you don't have stuff sticking in here in the first place. And the cool thing about the 1-Day Detox is that a lot of people think, oh, it's too good to be true. There's no way I can feel better in a day. The reality is you can, and we've done this with thousands and thousands and thousands of our clients and customers. And if you want to grab your free copy of the 1-Day Detox, just click on the link on this video or below. It'll take you over to the access page and you can download it right from there. And then just follow the instructions, really simple stuff. You'll actually be able to enjoy delicious foods that help cleanse your body from the inside out so that you have to rely a little bit less on this type of stuff. But again, I would recommend doing a coffee enema once a week. That's my personal protocol, and it's really, really powerful. So if you've enjoyed this, guys, give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you've ever done a coffee enema. And remember to subscribe to the channel because I've got hundreds of other videos to help you live a healthier, fitter, and more prosperous life. Thank you once again for joining me. I'm Uriel Kim signing off, and I'll talk to you soon.